Ladies and gentlemen, old Donnie here is now admitting COVID is running wild in the US. Only if he could have admitted this before he lost the election. No, instead of that, he was just sitting around talking about it's going to go away. It's going to go away. And it never went away. Okay. Oh, so much for that high IQ, y'all. We still trying to find that high IQ and we still can't find it. So this is November 21st, 2020, and this is The Guardian. Donald Trump appears to admit COVID is running wild in the US. Wow. Donald Trump is finally admitting that coronavirus is running wild across the US, in contrast to his statement throughout the election campaign that the country was rounding the turn on the pandemic. As new COVID infections in the US approached 200,000 a day, Trump took to Twitter on Saturday night to insist things were bad outside the US as well. The fake news is not talking about the fact that COVID is running wild all over the world, not just in the US. So he posted that November 21st, 2020 on Twitter. On Friday, the US recorded 195,500 new cases, a global and US record, according to Johns Hopkins University data. On Saturday, the country passed 12 million cases, by far the largest total in the world. During the election campaign, Trump repeatedly asserted that the US was rounding the turn on coronavirus and that the country would hear less about the pandemic after November 4th. That didn't happen. In his tweet late on Saturday, he insisted the fake news forget to mention the far fewer people were dying when they get COVID. The Food and Drug Administration said on Saturday that it had issued an emergency use. So what they did was approve Regeneron, a pharmaceutical antibody therapy that was just approved recently by the Food and Drug Administration. That was given to the president when he had COVID-19 in October. It comes as daily deaths in the US are approaching figures seen during the first month of the pandemic. On Thursday, more than 2,000 Americans died from COVID, the highest figure since May. Trump said at the viral G20 summit earlier on Saturday that the biggest subject was COVID. We will be healing fast, especially with our vaccines. Trump also implied to the G20 leaders that he would be working with them in the future. Not if you're not the president. How are you going to work with them in the future and Joe Biden is the president elect? Okay, whatever, Trump. I look forward to working with you again for a long time, he told leaders, according to audio obtained by The Observer. So I guess we're still on this playing like I am the president and I'm not leaving office. Okay, whatever. Ahead of the summit, the UN Secretary General called on the G20 to join COVAX, an international initiative to distribute COVID-19 vaccines to countries worldwide. The United States has declined to join under Trump. Instead, it and other countries like Britain, France, and Germany, which are all G20 nations, will have directly negotiated deals with pharmaceutical companies to receive billions of doses, meaning that the vast majority of the world's vaccine supply next year is already reserved. Moderna, told Germany, weekly Weltam Sonntag said it will charge governments between $25 to $37 per dose of its COVID vaccine candidate, depending on the amount ordered. Our vaccine therefore cost about the same as the flu shot, which is between $10 and $50. Back in the US, millions were expected to travel for upcoming Thanksgiving holiday, and they have, ignoring warnings about the spread of the virus. And they're going to continue to ignore it when Christmas comes. I mean, this is just one holiday. When the next one comes, they're going to ignore it and do whatever they want. That's how Americans are. More than 1 million people flew through airports on Friday, according to data from the Transportation Security Administration. It was the second heaviest domestic air travel day since the start of the pandemic. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued a warning on Saturday for all people to avoid cruise ship travel because the risk of COVID-19 on board is very high. Last month, the agency issued a framework for phased resumption of cruise ship operations after a no-sail order issued in March in response to the novel coronavirus pandemic was to expire. And people are still on those cruise ships because I've seen the stories out there. They have never stopped taking cruises during COVID. They just don't talk about it in the news, but those cruise ships are still out there with passengers. That has not changed. But y'all, please tell me what you think about Trump finally coming around to admitting that COVID is a problem in the US when he was denying all of these things prior to losing the election. How convenient, Donald Trump. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.